Everybody's heard of JVC, right? But they've never heard this meaning for JVC. Junk video camera. This one happens to be made by Sony. I don't have much patience for this stuff, especially when people give it to me and say, take it apart and throw it away. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got this old Sony camcorder dropped off at my door. And no, I'm not being asked to fix this thing. It was just, here, you can have this. Have it for your channel. See whether you can get it going or not. I don't want it back, so do with it what you want. Throw it out, fix it, whatever. I haven't looked at it. I don't know whether it works or not. I highly doubt that it does. This one actually came with, this is kind of neat. I had one of these at one time too. I don't know what happened to it, but I've got it around somewhere, I'm sure. Sony had a battery pack that you could buy. If I can remember how to open the damn thing. You squeezed it down and it opened up. I remember that. But it allowed you to put AA non-rechargeable. I guess you could use rechargeable cells in it too, but the voltage wouldn't be as high. How did it open the stupid thing? Just pry it open like that, like that. It'll let you put AA cells. So it took 6 AA cells. Now this camcorder ran on 6 volts. It'll be 9 volts if you put in 6 cells. The idea behind that was you could put rechargeable AA's like nickel metahydrate or nickel cadmium into here, and it would power up the camcorder. And I actually used to do that with mine. I put Nike, I think it was, did I put NiCads or NIMH? I forget, but anyway. It says here, what's it say on here? Use only alkaline batteries. Manganese batteries cannot be used. I used to use nickel metal hydrate batteries in mine, and it worked. Just as a backup. This was for people that were traveling and they didn't have any place they could charge up. They could carry around dry cells with them. I'll likely keep the adapter if it works. It's got everything in here. It's even got the keys to lock. Even got the keys to lock the case. It's got 2 RF modulators. And the TV cord. You could connect this to your television and connect your antenna to it. And then when you hooked up your camcorder, you had a switch. So you could just switch it. So it would send the RF down to the switch, and then you could switch it over. That was to make connection easy. They say they have 2 RF modulators with this one. They both do the same thing. Audio, video in, power in, channel 3 out. Those probably still work too. The charging cable is here. This cable was used to allow the camcorder to be powered up with power. You plugged in there, and then this plate goes onto the back of the camera. Now again, I don't know if this thing works or not. I assume that it does not work, but we'll find out. This is going to be, it's a CCD F35, so this is going to be full of capacitors that are bad, and I'm not going to change them. But we'll take a look and see what's wrong with it, and see how bad it is. As I say, I have zero interest in fixing this camcorder, because even if it was working, I wouldn't get a hell of a lot for it. But we'll take a look at it and see whether it can be made to work. If it can be made to work, then I will do that, because I can always turn around and try to sell it to somebody. After all, I do have the complete case and everything for it. Plug the camcorder in, turn it on. It's in VTR mode. Let's put it in camera mode and see if there's a picture. Oh, holy smoke. This thing's actually got a picture. Interesting. I did not expect that. Check it out. The last thing I expected this thing to do was to actually produce a picture from the camera. But that part is working. What about the VTR part? Well, it opens. Now this thing's not going to work. There's not a snowball's chance in hell that this thing's going to work. But we'll try a tape and see whether it does. I have a tape. Put it into VTR mode. What the heck? It threaded the tape. Even the viewfinder is working on this thing. No, this thing can't work. It can't. And it doesn't. I've been vindicated. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, well, it's not working. It's not working correctly, but it might be savable. Let's take a look at the picture. Now, for sure, it's going to be capacitors, for sure. But look, when I play the tape, nothing comes up, but when I go to fast forward, and if I go to pause, wherever the pause button is on this, I'm getting a part of a picture. All those heavy lines is capacitors. So this does have a capacitor problem. And it looks like it's in the DC to DC converter. They're probably leaking right now. They're more than likely leaking all over the circuit board right now as I've got this thing powered up. Let's just try my other tape. Will this other tape fare any different? Shouldn't. Should do exactly the same thing as this one. Nothing. Yeah, pretty much. We'll remove the arrow mark screws and just take the side cover off of it. See how bad it is. As I previously said, I have really no interest in repairing this camera because it's not worth anything. And this is dated. What is this? 1988, I believe. 1988, July 1988. So this camera is 33 years old. The fact that it actually even still produces somewhat of a picture is amazing. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect the servos to even work on this thing, to tell you the truth. I expected that this thing would not even load a tape. And it's not something I really would want to fix. I wouldn't put any money or time or effort into this thing. And if somebody brought me this camera and asked me to fix it, I would tell them it's not worth fixing. I wouldn't attempt. The reason I wouldn't attempt is because anything you do on this, short of replacing every capacitor in the unit, you're going to be married to the unit, and even then, you're probably going to be married to the unit. Because as soon as you start charging somebody anything, and I mean anything, you charge somebody $50, and they expect that it's going to last forever. That's just the way it is. People put money into something, they expect it's going to last forever. And there are some things that are worth fixing and other things that are not worth fixing. And camcorders were the items that fell into that not worth fixing category pretty quick. So it's something I'm not interested in putting much effort into. The only reason I'm going this far is because, well, this thing is mine and I've got nothing else better to do today. There's no customer products here to repair. I don't know when I'm going to see the next piece of equipment come in. Maybe I'll see something next week. Maybe I won't. That's the way it is in the service business. It's it's not that busy like it used to be, where people were lining up and dropping stuff off and paying money to fix it. These days, people will not spend any money on fixing things, or if they do, they spend very little. It's not that people don't want to fix things, it's just a lot of this technology people aren't using. The only reason why somebody would want a camcorder like this is to archive their tapes. And you can generally find a much newer working camcorder that doesn't have the major capacitor issues that these ones did for a reasonably low cost. In fact, I've got one that I rebuilt that doesn't have capacitor issues. I've been trying to sell the thing for the past year, and even though I'm not asking much for it, I've got no takers. Nobody wants it. So let's take a look inside here. It doesn't look like any of these caps. Oh, maybe some have. Some of these caps look like they've been changed on this thing. That's probably why it's working as well as it is. It looks like a few of them have been changed. It looks like there's some missing too. But these all look like they've been redone. At some point or another, they've all been changed out. Isn't that interesting? So say somebody serviced this at some point. And that would explain why it's not, it's working better than I expected. The cover is also missing off of the DC to DC converter, which is a good indicator that somebody's been in here too. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? Okay, I've got it hooked up to power. Let's just see whether... What's going on? Let's see, it doesn't want to play now. Opens that way. But now it doesn't want to do anything. Well, I think it's shot. And that shows about how far I'm going to go on this thing. This one is beyond repair. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not going to waste any more time on it. You saw it go pop. So I don't know what's going on with this one, but something blew up in here. So on this board here. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna toss this thing. This thing's junk. I'm not going to spend any time on it. It's not worth fixing. Simple as that. Off to recycling. This piece of junk goes. Bye.